Did you have a mentor during the early years, and how did that relationship affect the development of your career?
I did. I had a mentor, but the guy's name was Larry Williford, and he, at the time, was the head of public relations at Allstate Insurance Company and had a breadth of knowledge and background and helped me sort of get into that mental place that you have to be in public relations, which is very different from where I had been in labor relations, which generally was a fairly secretive. I mean, you'd come back from a trip and they'd say, well, so what did you spend on your expense account? What was this $8 for? And you'd say, don't ask. And public relations was very different, so he helped. The true mentors I've had, frankly, were in much later life, and they were chairmen I worked for, Dick Ferris at United Airlines and Tom Theobald at Continental Bank. Brilliant men, way smarter than I was, willing to listen, truly understood the difference between what they thought was good and what would work. I mean, Tom Theobald many times would look at an ad or a program and say, I don't like it, but to our customers. And if our customers like it, go ahead and do it. Those were the kind of people you had to work for in this business to grow. I recently went back to my old alma mater, and I was asked to give a speech for Founders Day. I asked the president, by the way, had she looked at my record at the college. She had said no, and I said, well, don't, or you'll not invite me. So it was sort of wonderful to go back in that capacity, knowing that it was not my finest years. But I was asked by a lot of students, so what's happened in 50 years? Because that was 50 years since I had been back there. And this profession probably has changed more in the last 10 years or 5 years than it did in the 30 or 40 years before that. And I mean, when you think about it, I mean, first, obviously, the whole issue of media. When I got into this business was media relations. The only way you talked to your constituencies was through the media, your shareholders, your employees even, and certainly your customers. And people believed what the media said. They didn't believe what we said, but if the media, it was the whole thing. Well, if the media repeats it, everybody believes it. What's happened today? People do not believe what the media is saying. The research is very clear. They believe that the media really doesn't understand business and comes to the table with a skewed thought about business, an opinion. They actually believe what businesses say today versus what the media says. They want the source. They don't want people to interpret information for them. This is an enormous change. Again, much of our profession understands that. Some of it doesn't. There are still media-centric places in public relations, and it's an old school, dying part of our business, truly. Social media, obviously, is the living part. Transparency, we've talked about. There are no secrets left. There used to be secrets. There are none. You can't keep them. And that's changed what we do. Diversity, certainly. We've gone from concentration on content and people spending hours and days editing pieces of work to distribution is now the issue. Content is important, but it's more, can I get it to you? And then can I get it to you in the right form at the right time? People that came into this business used to be journalists. That was we hired them out of journalism schools, we hired them from newspapers. Today, they're all coming out of business schools. Right. If you can't read a balance sheet, frankly, you can't do business as a PR anymore. So the business has changed enormously. And I think some of the problems we've got are some of our academic programs and the people teaching them don't understand it's changed that much. And there's some people in our profession who are fairly important positions who don't really realize it because they're still back to the way things used to be done. The big question is what's going to happen next?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's going to be great.
It definitely will be interesting.
I mean, this profession is getting more and more important. It is getting, because of the changes. It used to be fairly easy. If I can get if I can get someone as a reporter to repeat what I had to say about my organization, my job was done. Everybody believed them. I got a pat on the back, a raise, and a decent bonus. Today, it's not that easy. First off, there's more diversity in my audience. There's more ways to get to them. They have all the information about us, not just what I've just given to the media. The job is getting tougher, therefore it's getting way more important.
The Page Center has a PR firm that's kind of helping us get the word out about our scholars and the results of their findings and so forth. And I have been amazed with the releases, the reaction to that, the blogs, and the websites that are responding. It's absolutely amazing. Every day I get multiple emails. Well, here it's mentioned here and here, and it's amazing. News just travels very quickly.
Well, and they can look behind it.
Yes.
That's the good news, bad news. Is we tell people what we're doing or how we're doing something, and they can look behind it. They can see what's driving it. They can actually look at the people who are driving it, understand, are they credible or not? What's their background? This never happened before. Again, it makes the job more difficult, but it takes a skill base that didn't exist 10 years ago, 15 years ago. The social media is the new hot thing. It's the blogs and Twitter and all this stuff, and that's fine. And some people are organizing that well, and some people are not. They're just putting it out there. It's because if we thought reporters had an opinion when they did something, blogs and everything else, the internet has way more opinions, and you have to deal with that.